Hi students, the entire universe revolves around one single thing, that is time. Be it sun, moon, stars, everything, every single thing follows a specific time duration and a pattern. The example that I am using for you is to understand the importance and relevance of time in everyone's life. Students, this session of mine is gonna talk about how to study, when to study, which subject for your board examinations. This entire session is actually dedicated to the entire board examinations appearing students for next year. And in this session, we're gonna discuss why do we need to frame the timetable and routine for having this entire session to be covered properly of 2.5 months. Majority of the schools will be giving you study leave or preparation leave from the mid of December to the end of February, and in this time pattern it is you who have to set up a specific routine which you're gonna follow in a consistent and persistent manner. Now, why do we need a set of mind frame? Because you yourself would realize that when you do not have a planned or a structured mindset, it results in time loss. So just imagine, can you afford to actually lose time at this time frame where you barely have 1 month or 2 months time to cover your entire study and score good marks in your boards? Scoring good marks or scoring 90 or 100 is the mere concern for me. For me, the major concern is getting the concept clear, understanding the subject, and having a quality knowledge of the standard which you are just gonna clear. So to get that understanding, comprehension and proper knowledge, we are gonna follow and set a routine for ourselves for this time duration that you have in our hand. Now, students, first of all, you can divide the time into 3 segments I have already discussed. Now, in a day, you can divide the segments into 3 patterns. One is your sleep pattern. You can make it for say around 8 hours. It should be 8 hours. Then you have your family and your me time, that segment for 4 hours, and 12 hours that you are left with, it should be specifically defined for your studies. That is the time where you cannot shift your focus. Now you must be wondering that why am I telling you to spend 4 hours with your friends and family who are still gonna be there with you when you are coming back, or you're gonna be there after the boards also. You can spend a quality family time with them. But do you know we are social animal? We human beings are social animal, and if we are deprived of this socializing, of being social, and deprived for a fraction of a second or even for 1 day or 2 days, we start feeling ignored. When start feeling ignored, we automatically get demotivated. And for all students, for all of you, you and me, we all know that it is the family and friends who is the only and major source of motivation and inspiration. Here, I also would like to make a humble appeal to all the parents to give a healthy, positive and a motivating environment to all your children. This is the time where they need your support system at max. This is the time when they will be actually stressed, full of anxiety, full of fear, that will they be able to make it? Will they able to fulfill your expectation? So it's you also who has to play a very important role in the support system, in building up the support system. Students, this is the time not to fear. It's not the time to be anxious. It is the time when we are gonna overcome this fear and plan it accordingly so that we can do something in a very, very constructive and concrete manner. I just discussed the 3 segments: the family segment, the sleep pattern segment, and the study segment. Now students, what you have to do is you have to make 3 segments of your study segment. If you wake up, say for instance, you wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning, you have to divide your time per subject 1 hour only. No spending much time over, or too much time over one particular subject. When you keep studying one subject on a continuous basis, you happen to ignore certain other subjects which may be very scoring, thinking that, oh, this is easy. So when something is easy, do not deprive it. Okay, fine, you find it difficult, no problem. When the end of the day you are getting some extra time, you're going to cover that there. Fine. So we are going to divide the time in such a way where you're going to spend 1 hour per subject, and trust me, it's going to be ample time. It is going to be ample time for you. If you have 30 chapters, then you need only 30 days to cover that entire subject once. So next 1 month you're going to revise. So do not hurry. Okay. So over here, when you're dividing the time and making it 1 hour per subject, means we are starting the day with, say, the most difficult subject of yours. You choose the subject which you find the most difficult. For example, many people find maths very difficult, and this is a subject and this is a time. The first hour when you are fresh is a time when you are supposed to spend with the subject which you find difficult and requires brain work, and it is to be solving problem. So when you are going to solve problem, start with that. So say mathematics for science stream, okay, say geography for arts, and accounts or business studies for commerce. Then followed by another subject from 7 a.m. So that is, it could be physics, again problem solving, again brain work. So the whole idea behind this is you are going to study a subject which you find difficult and you think it requires a brain work and you need to solve problems there. So this is the time period, this 2 hours, that is 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Then you take a break of half an hour. Now the 4 hours which I had already discussed with you, the family time, me time, we are going to borrow half an hour from there. So you're left with 3.5 hours there. So half an hour we take there. So half an hour you're going to have breakfast, discuss, have family time over the table with your family, and then again refresh and resume back to studies. Now in next time, when you're sitting here around 8:30, you're going to start up with a subject which is requiring memory, in which you need to use your memory, in which you need to memorize subjects like, say, chemistry for science, history for arts, and you can also say commerce for the commerce stream. Then we move on to the next hour. From 9:30 we start with another subject which requires again memory, say again bio or any other subject which requires memory, followed by biology from 9:30 onwards till 10:30, where again the subject which requires to be registered in your brain and which requires memory. Then here you can take a break for half an hour, again borrowing from your family time. Take a break, munch something like cake or hydrate yourself with juice and fruits. During this break you hang out with your siblings and parents. Now after this you go back to a segment which is a lighter segment from 11 onwards. Now this segment is light for you because you're going to do only reading there. Now in this segment, when you're reading subjects like English, say 11 to 12 you're reading English, then 12 to 1 you're following EVS. Okay, so this is a lighter segment where you're only reading and you're grasping what needs to be grasped inside in your mind. That's all. Then you take a break for 1 hour from 11 and have lunch. Now it depends on you. Depends from students to students. Some people feel sleepy after having lunch and some are comfortable even after lunch they carry on. So it depends on you which type of a break will you take here. So if you are comfortable continuing, you can continue till 3 and then take a longer break here, or you can have your lunch, take a break and nap till 3 p.m. Now from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. is another very important segment where you are continuing with the lighter segment. From 11 to 5 it's continuing because of the break of lunch and the nap. So this segment, what you're doing, you're utilizing 4 hours only, from 11 to 1 and from 3 to 5. So 11 to 1 you're doing light reading like English and EVS, whereas in the next 2 hours you are solving question papers of past years. Now in this pattern, what you are doing is you are solving the topics that you have covered, the topics that you have covered for the respective subjects. So you are actually understanding your level. Where do you stand? How much do you need to work on? What are your weaknesses in that particular topic and subject, and what are your strengths of that particular topic and subject? So when you are doing a self-analysis, there is no better analysis and realization than when you are understanding by yourself what are your strengths and weaknesses. So over here when you are doing this, it's you who can evaluate the time that will be required by you to solve these questions of this topic, solve the questions of these topics in the examination hall also. So which is cutting down on your anxiety level, which is cutting down on your examination stress. So the performance rate automatically increases here, and this is why this 2 hours is going to be very vital for you. Now after this you can take 1 hour's gap here. You can go out, play with friends, relax. If you have doubts in certain areas which you will inquire, you will encounter during your self-analysis of the past papers, you can go for a doubt clearing session with your mentors or your teachers or even your friends. So in this pattern you take a break, and you can also go around play with your friends. So this 1 hour is your time. After a break of 1 hour, you are continuing with your third segment of your preparation. So the third segment begins from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Now 6 p.m. is the time when you start with a subject like computer science or economics, which requires concept clearing and practice. Then from 7 to 8 you spend on a subject which you think during the entire day you required more time to understand that subject. It could be maths, physics, chemistry, history, geography, any subject which you feel required more time. Because when you have already done the self-analysis during clearing, during solving the past year's paper, at that point you would have yourself realized that which are the areas or which are the subjects which you need to clear more, work more. So that 1 hour is specifically defined for that. Then you have to take a break for half an hour or 1 hour again. Say half an hour break you take. So 8 p.m. to 8:30 you take a break. From 8:30 to 10 or 10:30 as per the time which you think is favorable, because some people need a longer time to recall and some people need a lesser time to recall. So depending on your individual personality and your individuality, you have to recall the entire day's study that you have done during this 2 hours time or 1.5 hours time. So this 2 hours is the most important, which I would suggest is the most important for any student which is preparing for board examinations. Because study is something that everybody does, but recall is something merely anybody does. Here is the difference. When you can recall what you have studied, that is the time, and that is what is actually going to let you know that what is the productivity level, what is the result of the entire day. If you can't remember the formulas that you have used in mathematics topic, no point having practice for 1 hour, 2 hours, 10 hours. If you cannot recall what you have studied in history and you cannot recall the dates of the specific events, no point studying. So recall is the most important phase for me, for any students who is preparing for board exam. So now you have to recall in a point format. Recall it in a point format and remember the formulas. So when you are recalling, this is a pattern where you are actually feeding your mind with the information that this is what is there in these topics. So by the end of the day, when you are going to bed, you are all set and all prepared for that particular topic that you chose for the day and for the respective subject. So this has to be followed and continued for the rest of the time and rest of your entire duration left for your boards. This is a continuous and persistent effort that you have to put in. Advisors can only motivate you. It cannot help you study, focus, and produce good results. Good results will be the result of your dedication and your continuous efforts and persistence that you're gonna actually put in during this duration. So students, it's all dependent on you. How you do it, how you take a call on it. Just making a timetable and procrastinating that I'll begin from tomorrow, day after, it's not going to work. You have to start now. You have to start from today. You have to start it just now. So this is gonna be dependent on you. Okay? And trust me, it's not a matter of fear. You will build in fear with the delay you do. The more you delay, the more fear will be there. The more stress you will be suffering. So you want to suffer or you want to have a good time during your board exam, it's actually all dependent on you. Now how you do it, how you take it, and how you implement the ideas. These are small tips, minor simple tips which can be followed by every one of you. So take it, use it, apply it, and see the productivity, see the fruitfulness. There is nothing that is impossible here. Everything is possible. So let's work on it. All the best for your board exams. Thank you.